Get with the programme, Rishi Sunak.
Tory, ravioli, tagliatelle, spaghetti, stromboli, penne.
I am identifying as a lasagna today. Slightly flat and very meaty. Yeah, it's raining. Good. I'm just going to go and drag a chair out onto a dual carriageway outside a cafe and sit and enjoy a bacon sandwich with some HP sauce. Do you not know how classy I am? My God, I thought I had conveyed to you my levels of sophistication by now. Our Prime Minister, Sunak, went on Loose Women. There were multiple clips of him all over social media being truly dreadful.
Is it the same advisor as Prince Andrew who told him to go and do that interview with Emily Maitlis? Possibly. Here you go. Go and do Loose Women. Great idea. Just be you, Rishi.
They'll love you. So relatable. Judy Love really spoke from the heart. She was fantastic. We just couldn't quite believe Sunak's response.
When are you going to do something to make a change? People are suffering right now. What are you going to do and when are you going to do it?
So on social media, Judy, on social media, we are making that change already. So we passed a law called the Online Safety Act.
And he just kept bleating on about the online safety bill, which she clearly wasn't trying to ask him about until she had to interrupt him again.
Yeah. We've got people that are going to work and they are not eating because we're in a state of poverty. What is going to take place now? What are you going to do now to address this?
And then he went on to say...
You saw that with me during the pandemic and furlough, right? There were millions of people who thought they were going to lose their jobs, and we stepped in to provide that support. We did the same with energy bills. Around half of a typical family's energy bill
4 million children living in poverty,
made sure we were covered. And then more...
Get with the programme, Rishi Sunak. They are talking about now. What are you doing now? And you're rattling off your greatest shits, because they're not hits, like a sort of constipated robot.
Bearded Genius on X wrote, "They never learn. They think local radio or Loose Women will be an easy ride, and they don't realise the easy ride is what they get day to day."
We've got lots of people talking to kids. They were talking about you can have 72 different gender identities, or very young kids being exposed to things which clearly aren't appropriate.
I mean, hello.
72 genders.
72 genders. Listen, let's go to someone who's absolutely across her brief. She's got a briefcase. She's a businesswoman. And she's also our education secretary, Gillian Keegan. So she must know what's what, right?
But how widespread is that issue?
I don't think it's widespread. I mean, I don't know because, it's not something that I've gone and...
You don't know?
Well, it's not something that we've gone and done, a particular survey of. We've listened to reports, we've listened to concerns from teachers.
But that's staggering that as the Education Secretary, you don't know how widespread the issue is to make such large changes. You've banned teachers from talking about gender identity. You've actually banned them in this guidance.
Identity, which is a contested fact, not gender recognition.
I'm fluent enough in this subject, I promise you, and I reckon our listeners are as well. We'll come to whether you are in a moment. But I suppose it's staggering that you are across education, but you have no idea how widespread this problem is.
But she reminds me sometimes I go on the Jeremy Vine show and I might be with a panellist who doesn't do any research and just answers based on what they feel. I sort of think, I think actually, and that's what that reminds me of. And she is the Secretary of State for Education, passing legislation.
Yeah, passing legislation and then saying, I don't know why. Honestly, it's pathetic.
I hate them. I actually hate them. I do. I hate fennel and I hate the government.
It's licorice for me.
I really hate
I actually quite like fennel.
Licorice?
Yeah, fennel.
So that means you can't drink aftershock.
No.
Not that you would.
No.
But...
I like fennel. But I don't like aftershock. I feel like I've matured and grown out of drinks like aftershock, Marina. I can't bloody lie. Never find me an aftershock. Flipping it.
Or sours?
Do you not know how classy I am? My God, I thought I had conveyed to you my levels of sophistication by now. Kevin Schofield tweeted, extraordinary, having listened to Gillian Keegan's media round this morning, that she has implemented huge restrictions on sex and relationship education in schools based on, it would seem, vibes.
I stumbled upon a thread on Twitter by someone called Sophia Smith Gaylor, I think her name is. So she wrote, We're protecting kids is always going to be a powerful electoral win because it activates our emotions. Read between the lines. Who is really being protected here? It's true, right? If a kid isn't educated enough to know, then who are we protecting here?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to just go slightly lighter with my next tweet. It was a long but very amusing thread from an account called Scary Cat Cult, who took it upon themselves to list out all 72 of the genders. They listed woman, man, non-binary, gender fluid, gender solid, gender gas, gender plasma, cis guy, cis woman, trans guy, trans woman, transatlantic, biological woman, biological man, fairy non-bio woman, Tory, ravioli, tagliatelle, spaghetti, stromboli, penne. And it just went on and on and on. It was wonderful.
I am identifying as a lasagna today. Sort of slightly flat and very meaty. And a little bit saucy. And very cheesy.
I was going to say, get the saucy in there.
Sure, cheesy. What are you identifying as?
At the moment, like a used tea bag. That's probably what I feel like at the moment. Used, sort of just discarded, like probably fit for the bin. It's a bit smelly.
Have you been fake
stains.
tanning? Yeah, fake tanning.
Exactly, I fake tanned last night. That'll be why. Britain's strictest head teacher and notorious belle, Catherine Burbling, was there doing what she always does, and she was propping up this culture war nonsense. So first, she wrote a tweet saying she knew of a child identifying as pasta. And then she wrote an article in The Telegraph with the headline, "I know of a child who identifies as a hologram," says Britain's strictest head. To which Janelle Comeau replied, "If I knew I could make my teacher humiliate herself on an international scale just by making some shit up, you'd best believe I would be making some shit up." Like, does she not realise that kids can be quite funny?
Yeah.
They can have like a sense of humour. They can take the piss.
Pinch of salt, old Burbling. Calm yourself. So Otto English tweeted, "Burbling is now insisting that loads of teachers have kids in classrooms identifying as pasta. Sounds like she's blown a fusilier." You got to put a dad joke in. Otto, that was a proper dad joke. I approve. Right, everybody, quick Brexit benefits section, which produced a lot of underrated tweets. And of course, it's going to be quick because it is a Brexit benefits section. So Kemi Badenoch proudly announced that pavement dining to become a permanent feature of the high street to make the most of Brexit freedoms.
Do they know with the term al fresco? It's not from the UK.
Oh my God. I'm just going to look out the window. Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's raining. Good. I'm just going to go and drag a chair out onto a dual carriageway outside a cafe and sit and enjoy a bacon sandwich with some HP sauce. I can't wait, Marina. I cannot wait.
There are some great responses to this. On Instagram, Kebabs500 wrote, "Very helpful because pavement living has also increased by insane levels thanks to Tories."
And Supernova Terrace said, "Can't wait to munch on me soaking wet fish and chips as the floodwater full of piss and shit laps around my ankles."
God. And Otto English tweeted, "Meanwhile, Catherine Burbling thinks that there is a kid in her school called Alfresco who identifies as a bistro table."
Brilliant. It's Carol Vorderman, and here she is spitting some absolute truths about the Tory government on Joe Lycett's show, Late Night Lycett.
I calculated how much they had added to the national debt every day for 5,000 days, and it was over £300 million a day for 5,000 days. Where's all the money gone? Because I tell you what, everything, NHS, prisons, schools, water, rivers, water in the taps in Devon, everything has turned to shit.
Well, I don't think...
Now, I'm guessing that audience were all a bit half cut, but I'm very much enjoying that they all seem so engaged and annoyed, and I love it when Carol takes it to the mainstream.
I love it as well. Can you imagine if there was like one lone Conservative in the audience going, it'd be like a Spurs fan at an Arsenal match or something, just like... just doesn't work. We've got to the point in Great Britain where people are being warned to potentially boil their water or not drink from the tap.
It's like going to Spain, Gemma, without any of the benefits of going to Spain. Things have got so bad with our water now that there's an area of Devon where people are being told to boil their water because it's making them sick.
And we've got these maps all over social media which sort of show the level of contamination where you live. That's exciting. How much shit have you got near you? I'm dark red. Oh, I'm pale pink. I've just got a bit. I've got loads. And then when you think, as tweeted by Abolish Golf, who just put the parasites over a headline on BBC News, which said, since 2020, executives at the water firms have paid themselves $5,823,000 in pay and perks.
Yeah, so the parasites aren't in the water. The parasites are in the water companies. The bosses, they're the parasites. This is where I get very angry with Labour and I start to lose a little bit of hope, because there was a vote in Parliament to make water bosses criminally liable for sewage dumping in rivers and seas, and Labour abstained. Surely ridding our waters of shit appeals to all voters, even right-wing bellends.
Henry Morris said, I can't imagine floating voters voting floaters. Exactly.
Precisely. Just this morning, we have to pop this in because there's obviously been some wonderful reactions to 30p Lee's latest tweet that went viral because he decided to tweet a picture of his, it's an offensive looking breakfast, I'll be honest, with the caption, "A great start to the day, but how long before some highly educated expert tells us our traditional breakfast is racist?" Born in the USA wrote, "No beans, no tomato. Seems like the only one disrespecting tradition is Mr. Anderson."
Oh, also, a few more sort of underrated comments. We were talking about the defection of the Conservative MP, Natalie Elphicke, over to Labour. And Marina said, yeah, but, what if Jonathan Gullis wanted to crawl over? And this really took off over on our Patreon chat. Cy T wrote, Theresa May would run across the floor if she defected. Anderson would slouch over. Squit Diddley has named Rear Smog, and said, I think he'd actually be carried across in a sedan chair very carefully so as not to wake him up. Pink said, Priti Patel would fly over without letting sunlight touch her. Pink also said, we could put wheels and a remote control on a vegetable crisp fridge drawer for Truss.